You see someone every single day at work, at the gym, maybe in your building lobby. But ask yourself honestly, could you pick their face out of a lineup? Most of us couldn't. And it's not because we're rude or forgetful. It's because of the fascinating way your brain decides what's worth remembering. Today, we're diving into the neuroscience of facial recognition, exploring why we forget faces we encounter constantly, and uncovering what a rare neurological condition called prosopagnosia reveals about how memory actually works. The fusiform face area, your brain's celebrity spotter. Deep in the temporal lobe of your brain lies a specialized region called the fusiform gyrus, and within it sits something even more specific: the fusiform face area, or FFA. This tiny patch of neural real estate is laser-focused on one job: recognizing faces. But here's the twist: it only works when a face matters to your brain. Strangers and acquaintances, they don't trigger the same neural response as close friends or family. Brain imaging studies show that when you see someone you care about, the FFA lights up like a stadium during a championship game. But the cashier you see 3 times a week, your FFA barely notices. This selective attention is by design, not a bug in your system. The context collapse problem. Your brain doesn't store faces in isolation. Instead, it binds them to context: the situation, the setting, the emotional state. When you see someone at the grocery store wearing their work uniform, your brain encodes that person as grocery store employee. But if you bump into them on a hiking trail in casual clothes, suddenly your brain doesn't recognize them, even though the face is identical. This is called context-dependent memory, and it's why you might pass a colleague on the street and have no idea who they are. Your brain has filed them away in a mental drawer labeled office, and you're searching in the street drawer. The more random or emotionally neutral the encounter, the less likely your brain bothers encoding the details. Without surprise, novelty, or emotional significance, the face simply doesn't stick. Prosopagnosia, when face recognition completely fails. Now let's talk about prosopagnosia, a neurological condition where people lose the ability to recognize faces entirely. Some cases are congenital, meaning people are born with it. Others develop after brain injury. Famous cases include neurologist Oliver Sacks, who had prosopagnosia, and Brad Pitt, who has publicly discussed struggling with it. What's remarkable is that people with prosopagnosia can see faces perfectly clearly. Their vision isn't impaired. What's damaged is the neural pathway between the visual cortex and the facial recognition systems. They might look at their own spouse and see a face, but not recognize as their spouse. Some describe recognizing people only by voice, gait, or clothing. This condition reveals something profound: facial recognition is a separate, specialized cognitive ability. It's not just about seeing. It's about a specific kind of neural computation that our brains treat as utterly distinct. The own race bias and how faces get categorized. Here's something that might surprise you: you're better at recognizing faces that look like the people you grew up around. This is called the own race bias, and it's not genetic, it's learned. Your brain essentially develops a template for faces based on exposure. If you grew up in a community where most faces looked one way, your brain became expert at distinguishing subtle differences within that template. But when confronted with faces from different ethnic backgrounds, the same level of detail encoding doesn't happen. Your brain hasn't built as refined a template, so faces seem more interchangeable. This explains a phenomenon many people experience: they all look alike to us when we encounter people from backgrounds different from our own. But here's the hopeful part: this isn't hardwired. Increased exposure changes everything. People who grow up in multicultural environments or study faces from diverse backgrounds develop equally skilled recognition across all templates. It's proof that our neural systems are adaptive and trainable. The cocktail party effect and selective memory. Imagine you're at a crowded event. Someone you vaguely know walks by, and you completely miss them, even though you're technically looking in their direction. Why? Because your brain is running a constant triage system. It's asking, is this person important to me right now? Do I need to encode this face into memory? At a cocktail party, you're focused on the conversation in front of you. A passing acquaintance doesn't register as important, so your brain literally deprioritizes processing their face. This is related to something called an attentional blindness. You can be looking right at something and not actually see it if your attention is directed elsewhere. Your brain's facial recognition system doesn't operate independently, it competes for resources with everything else you're processing. When cognitive load is high, faces get dropped from the priority queue. This is why you're more likely to remember someone when you're calm, focused, and emotionally engaged. The recency illusion, why familiar faces feel forgotten. There's a paradox at play here. You see the barista every morning for 3 years, yet you couldn't describe their face to a sketch artist. But the moment they shave their beard or change their hair, you notice immediately. Why? Because your brain isn't storing a detailed, photographic memory of their face. Instead, it's storing something more efficient, a match detector. As long as the person stays consistent, the match system works fine. But when something changes, the system flags it. You don't forget the face, you never actually encoded it in the detail-rich way required for memory recall. You only ever encoded it as known versus unknown. This is actually incredibly efficient. Your brain would be overwhelmed if it tried to memorize the precise details of every face in your peripheral world. So it developed a system that says, I recognize this person's current state rather than I remember this person's exact features. Neural efficiency, the evolutionary reason we forget faces. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains are built for survival, not for storing encyclopedic facial databases. When our ancestors lived in small tribes of 50 to 150 people, remembering faces mattered, and they did remember them. But they developed a system that asked, who is important to my immediate survival and reproduction? Close family, allies, rivals, potential mates. Those faces got deep encoding. The stranger passing through? Forgotten. Today, we live in cities of millions and interact with hundreds of people we'll never see again. Our brains haven't evolved new hardware for this. We're running Stone Age software in a digital world. So when you struggle to remember your dentist's face, that's not a personal failing, that's your ancient neural system correctly assessing that this person isn't important enough to burn cognitive resources on. It's actually a sign your brain is working efficiently, allocating memory to what matters most. Can you train your brain to remember faces better? The answer is yes, with caveats. Performers, actors, and intelligence officers train extensively to improve facial recognition. They use techniques like focusing on distinctive features, asymmetries, scars, unusual proportions rather than trying to remember the whole face. They also deliberately slow down and create emotional narratives. Instead of passively seeing someone, they might think, this person has intense eyes, I wonder if they're a musician. That emotional engagement, that narrative making, activates deeper encoding. Memory champions do similar things. But here's what's important, you can improve, but you're fighting against your brain's natural design. The techniques work because they force you to go against the grain of selective attention. You have to manually override your brain's triage system and say, this face matters. It requires effort, intention, and repeated reinforcement. You can't accidentally become good at remembering random faces. You have to deliberately practice and maintain that skill. What prosopagnosia teaches us about memory. The biggest insight from studying prosopagnosia is this: facial recognition is so specialized and compartmentalized that it can be completely severed from the rest of your cognitive functions. People with prosopagnosia are otherwise intelligent, they can still form memories, they can still recognize people through other cues. But the facial recognition module, this one specific neural circuit, is broken. This tells neuroscientists that memory isn't a single, unified system. It's modular. You have memory for facts, memory for skills, memory for emotional experiences, and a separate, dedicated system for faces. This modularity explains why you might forget someone's face but remember a conversation you had with them word for word. It explains why a song can bring back vivid memories even if you can't remember the person's face who played it. Understanding that your brain has specialized modules for different types of information has revolutionized neuroscience and reshaped how we think about learning and memory. So the next time you can't remember someone's face, know that it's not a character flaw, it's a feature of an incredibly sophisticated and specialized neural system. Your brain is making efficient decisions about what's worth remembering, and that's actually brilliant. But now that you understand how it works, you can hack it if you want to. Focus on distinctive features, create narratives, engage emotionally, and you can override that default setting. The beauty of neuroscience is that it shows us we're not stuck with our limitations, we just need to understand them first. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into the strange world of facial memory and prosopagnosia, smash the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video like this one.